2 wives, 2 husbands, and the same accusation. You're wasting our money. One wife spends almost her entire paycheck on daycare. The other spends most of the emergency fund in one night. Let's see who you blame first. Pick a side. And let's see if you still agree when both cases are closed. A woman's husband wants her to quit her job. They have 2 kids. Daycare costs $3,200 a month. After taxes, she barely makes more than that.
So yes, she's basically working to pay for daycare. Her husband says it's ridiculous. Honestly, he kind of has a point. But she's 37, and she's spent years building her career. Now she's up for a promotion. Not guaranteed, just possible. Her husband makes a lot more than she does. So financially, yeah, it makes more sense for her to quit. But here's what bothers her. Why does the person earning less always have to be the one who stops working? Because how is she supposed to ever earn more if she quits first? The internet jury voted, and 62% sided with the husband, while 38% believed the wife was right. Remember that verdict. Case number 2 is going to make this much harder. A 4-year-old wakes up with a high fever. Then she starts throwing up. Then she becomes really lethargic. Mom wants the emergency room. Dad says wait, medicine, water, pediatrician in the morning. Honestly, that sounds pretty reasonable. Mom agrees to wait for 30 minutes. Then she grabs the car keys and takes their daughter to the ER anyway. The doctors run tests. Nothing serious. Probably a virus. A few days later, the child is completely fine. Then the bill arrives, several $1,000s, even after insurance. Most of their emergency fund, gone. Her husband is furious. I told you to wait. You panicked, and you spent our savings for nothing. And honestly, now that we know the child was fine, he sounds right. Then his wife says, you only know I was wrong because she's okay. When she left for the ER, there was no diagnosis yet. Just a sick 4-year-old in her arms. The internet jury voted, and this case divided people. 46% said the wife was right, 36% sided with the husband, and the remaining voters thought neither of them was completely innocent. Different stories, different verdicts. But in both polls, people kept coming back to the cost. And maybe that's because both families were forced to put a price on something that doesn't really have one. One woman was trying not to lose the career she'd built. The other was trying not to take a chance with her child. The real question isn't, what's cheaper? It's, what can this family afford to lose? Our verdict? Neither family got a fair choice. When basic care costs this much, families don't always get to make the perfect choice. Sometimes they just make the choice they think they can live with. Case is closed. Court is adjourned.